The theater department at Taylor University in Upland is hard at work on their fall production of Wit. And joining me today to share all the details of this production are director Joe Ricke and actress Tracy Manning. Thank you both for joining me on Arts Weekly. It's wonderful to have you on my show. You've not been on before.
No, yeah, thank you.
And we've met, Joe and I have met a couple of times through theater events. Tracy, I've never met you, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show. You're doing one of my all-time favorite plays.
Good.
It's really a treasure, this play, isn't it?
It's a great play.
Yeah, it's really a great play. Yeah. First of all, congratulations on your successful program at Taylor University.
Thank you.
Why did you pick this play in particular?
Well, I'm the director of the play, and Tracy's playing the lead role, Vivian Baring, and I think that she sort of wanted to play this role for a long time.
I don't know many actresses that don't want to play this role. Now, but let's stop there for a second and tell a little bit about your background, Tracy. Your background is in theater.
It is.
You started at a very young age, is that correct?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first time I darkened the door of a theater was on the coat strings of my sister. I think I was in the 8th grade.
Wow.
And it was for a work day, and I hung wallpaper with the high school theater director for a couple of hours, and I don't think I've ever left.
You've never looked back.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And you have some training as an actress, and you've done some professional work as an actress.
Yeah.
What brought you to Taylor University, and what do you do at Taylor University?
I currently am full-time faculty at Taylor in the communications department, and I serve as director of the theater program there that sits within that department. This is my 10th year at Taylor.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I came really just to direct one show. I came as an artist in residence 10 years ago to direct one play. My family had moved through a series of events to the Grant County area, and I wasn't sure where I was going to do theater at that juncture, but through a series of events, Taylor had a place, and I've been there ever since.
And Joe, you're at Taylor as well on the faculty.
Right. I'm a professor of English literature.
Ironic.
So, yeah, ironic in light
For those people who
of
don't
this
know
play.
why it's ironic because you're directing a show about an English professor.
Right.
It's very ironic.
And I'm teaching, I teach medieval and Renaissance literature especially, so it makes it even that much more ironic because the lead character, played by Tracy, Vivian Baring, is a scholar, a Renaissance scholar, specializing in the literature of John Donne, which I'm teaching next week.
Are you? Well, I think I want to call those students and give them a warning on the difficulty of John Donne.
Yeah.
It is kind of difficult.
Difficult and lovely. I fell in love with John Donne's poetry when I was an undergraduate.
You did?
I really did. So it's really relevant to me in that way doing this play.
So you have a connection to this play that unlike any director I've ever come across, and I've known a lot of directors who've done this play.
Yeah.
And so you have a really personal connection to it.
I do.
Donne is throughout this entire play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We, I remember sitting in my British literature class when I was an undergraduate and coming across Donne and his unique kind of complication, but also passion and dare I say it, wit.
Yes,
you know, he is so witty and ironic that I didn't know poetry could be like that.
Right, right.
And it could be that exciting.
Tracy, how long has this been on your to-do list? Because
a long time.
A long time.
Yeah, I find it just, and this is probably not a word that everyone would choose, but I find it a really beautiful play.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous play.
Really hard, but a beautiful play. I also found it a role that I wasn't sure I could ask a college student to step into. That they would have the breadth of experience, that they would have, that I would even want to ask them to put themselves in that position. So while it's been a play that I've wanted to do, I hesitated.
Let's quickly tell our viewers what the play is about so they get an idea of why we're not asking students to do this.
Sure.
The play is about a professor of English literature, Vivian Baring, played by Tracy, who has loved her entire life the difficulty of the poetry of John Donne, who writes a lot about death.
Right.
And at the beginning of the play, she finds out that she is in a very late stage of ovarian cancer, which we have just recently been thinking a lot about because September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month nationally.
Whoa.
So it's we didn't know that when we planned to do the play in September, but it's very relevant. And the rest of the play is, you might say, her dying process in the hospital and her memories of a life perhaps not well lived or not as well lived as she would have hoped. So it's tough stuff.
You know, it is. I remember seeing the original production, and I was sort of taken aback.
Can we touch you?
Can we touch you? No. You can't. Not on PBS. No. And one of the things I fell in love with the play was how fractured and imperfect this lead character is, and how that's what you learn almost immediately at the beginning of the play, is that, wow, I'm meeting a person who really has a sincere sort of regret over sort of a life not lived the way perhaps she wished she had.
Right.
Yeah,
there's a sense in which I think that she believes at some point that she was doing it right, you know, living life, being alive, and that she had figured out how she wanted to do that, and she had done it, you know, very type A,
right,
very intentionally.
And very successfully.
And very successfully. And she was happy that the metaphysical quandaries were complex. And
right.
Yeah, she was happy in that world. And now suddenly she needs answers and doesn't have them.
Right. And those memories, for our viewers who don't know the play, those memories that she goes on sort of bring her to a new place in her current world, that we watch as her body deteriorates. Her soul doesn't.
Right. I think that's exactly right.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
There's a scene with the students where she's her normal, harsh, and demanding, but not more than demanding, but unsympathetic self. And I think we have that. I love that scene because at the end of it, she keeps looking where those students were. They're gone now.
Right.
And
how big is the cast, Joe? It's a
10.
10. And who's cast in it?
We have a colleague of mine who's a professor of mathematics who's done quite a, we did Freud's Last Session together last year. He played C.S. Lewis and I played Freud. So he's Dr. Kalekian, the lead cancer doctor. And then a recent graduate, Ryan Maloney, he's second year out of school and he's substitute teaching now and getting ready to go to work on an MFA in acting. He's playing the role of Jason Posner, the young cancer researcher doctor. And we have a graduate student playing the role of Hannah, the nurse. I mean, Hannah
Susie,
playing the
her
role
name
of
is
Susie,
Hannah.
the nurse. And then several students or recent students who are playing a number of roles.
Right.
They play lab technicians, medical fellows, students in a university scene. So they're the heart. So they're the backbone of the play because they have 3 or 4 roles each.
It's written that way.
Yeah.
Everybody that does it has these 5 or 6 supernumeraries who just are everything, and they roll around the stage, and desks turn around, and things happen, and it makes it more efficient for you as a director.
I think the cast is doing all, bringing on all the pieces. That we have no other crew bringing things on.
Right. Tracy, what are the challenges? I mean, they're monumental, but what are some of the biggest challenges for you in this role?
Yeah, I think they come in degrees and in steps of the process. The first one, obviously, was just the amount of text that is there to get memorized, to understand. She has a very elevated sense of language, a lot of understanding of words and how they connect back to done, so becoming acquainted with done. And
Were you
acquainted with words, not as much as she is. So,
or Joe is.
And and that's been such a gift to
absolutely.
have someone who has that knowledge and can say that's a done reference, where we might miss it if we didn't have him. So that's been a real gift. So that was the first one, all the words. That came really early. I think the second one has been sort of acquainting myself with all the sort of medical things and the memories and psychology and the psychological processes that come with getting a port hooked to your chest, and then just recently I have shaved my head.
Hence the scarf.
Hence the scarf. And that was a choice that I made. I really felt like it was a choice that honored the lives of the women who walk through this particular process, and helps me in a really deep and personal way to connect to their lives, which I wanted to be able to do. And actually, the woman who cut my hair shared a story with me just briefly, that as she was talking with someone who was experiencing cancer, the woman had said, I knew the toll my body would take, but I didn't know what it would cost my femininity. which was a beautiful sort of concept for me to sort of embrace and think about and talk about. So those sort of psychological things, going through a code and remembering my father's, walking through the conversation about DNR and remembering having that conversation with my grandmother.
Right.
Those kinds of connections in the play are what make the play so relevant to all of us. We don't have to understand Donne to understand the play.
No, absolutely not.
We all have the metaphysical
Right.
quandaries.
Right.
We all ask questions of life and death and God and all of those things.
That's one of the reasons I think the play is so beautifully written, because you don't have to know a thing about Donne. She, as a teacher, she takes us
She
through.
teaches you.
She teaches us
Yeah.
about Donne in
Yeah,
the play.
she does.
Yeah,
Yeah, she does.
We have a little time left. What are the dates and the contact information on this production?
The show opens Thursday, September 18th, 8 p.m., Friday and Saturday also that week, 8 p.m., and then Sunday at 2 p.m. It's one weekend only, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 18th through the 21st.
And they can get tickets at the box office at taylor.edu, or they can call 765-998-5289. That's correct.
Right. And this is a general admission show, always this fall show, and so they can just get them at the door, not at the door, but at the box office before the show.
And how many seats in the theater?
317.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of room.
Good size, but intimate to a
Yeah,
certain extent.
it's a lovely space.
Which you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And tickets are only $7, and all of our proceeds go towards a scholarship fund to
for a
invest.
cancer victim.
Oh,
Right?
right?
Yeah, yeah.
For Jason.
Jason Francis was a former student who died of cancer.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Well, it's
just
one of
a
the
real
best plays
gift.
in the
It
last
is.
20 years, and I
Yeah.
congratulate you for doing it, and thank you for doing it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's a beautiful play, and I wish you all the luck with one of my favorite plays.
Thanks very
you.
much.
Come see
One
it.
of my favorite roles, so I'm going to have to get out to see it.
Yeah, I hope you can.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for joining
Thanks.
me.
Thanks.
I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Join us next time on Arts Weekly when we'll visit with Andrea Zwiebel from the Honeywell Center in Wabash to see what's in store there this season. And Christy Sandmeyer from the Fort Wayne Ballet will share the details about their upcoming production of At the Edge. For up-to-the-minute arts updates, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And be sure to join us here Thursday evening at 7:30 on PBS 39. Thanks for watching Arts Weekly.
Support for Arts Weekly is provided by PBS 39, the Our Foundation, Martin Tierney, and the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne.